You know what? Good morning, everybody, man. Mm-mm-mm. So I wake up this morning. You know, I've always been told whenever you're doing social media, never read the comments. Stay out of the comments. But a part of me doing this is to interact and engage with my peoples. So if my peoples got questions, suggestions, concerns, and things like that they want to talk about, I feel like the best way for me to connect with my crew is for me to get in the comments, for me to get in the comments and actually read some of the stuff that's happening. Because I want to get real life, you know what I'm saying, responses. Because the whole point of this page, me being a man, giving my perspective from a real point of view, uh, dropping real life experiences. Like this ain't my opinion. A lot of this stuff I'm living a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about. Right? So I'm reading this comment earlier that said, "Stop focusing on a small percentage of women who do wrong. Stop focusing on a small percentage of women who do wrong. The real issue is single parent homes and absent fathers." And look, I get it. That's a fair point. But let's be real. This conversation that we're having isn't about ignoring single parent homes. It's about balance, bringing balance back into the home. Now, I don't know if you guys been paying attention, but there's a lot of men who are stepping up to the plate and raising their kids single handedly by themselves. Me being one of them. So it's not about that. And then to say stop focusing on the small percentage of women who do wrong, all these bloggers, all these people do is get on social media and talk about the small percentage of men who do wrong. Because not all men are dogs. Not all men are into polygamy. Not all men sell drugs. Not all men go to jail. Not all men walk away from their kids. Not all men abuse their kids. Everybody talks about fathers who walk away, you know what I'm saying? But nobody want to talk about the mothers who use kids as leverage, lie in court, or block fathers out of their children's lives out of spite. That happens too. And pretending it doesn't happen only keep families broken. So you, my commenter, are a part of the problem. You're one of these people who glaze these women and reward them for doing this. And now I'm talking about men and women that got to step up. Black men and women have to step up. Men got to stop just laying down and trying to fuck on everything. Horny, don't have no type of control over his reproductive organs. You know what I'm saying? Men have to stop doing that. Men have to start developing a standard for themselves, man. You have to have a standard for yourself. If that woman is not for you, I had this conversation with my kid's mom, and we was talking about how when women lay down with a man, she got to be into him, but when a man lay down with a woman, as long as it's wet, then that's all you worry about. And that was an ignorant comment that I made because at the end of the day, that just shows how low men are when it comes to having sex. You don't even have a standard. She's not even your type. You don't even like her, and you'll lay down with her. Well, not me. I'm not laying down with no woman I don't like. I ain't laying down with no ugly woman either. I'm sorry. That's just me. You know, and all I want everybody to do is focus on getting serious about fixing these families. And if we're serious about fixing these families, we got to tell the whole truth, not the half truth, not what sounds good. I mean, we got to talk about the drug abuse that you're talking about. We got to talk about the lack of education you mentioned. We got to talk about the emotional trauma. And yes, we got to talk about the toxic co-parenting. A lot of men ain't go to school, go to college because a lot of men were providers, right? A lot of men were providers while their black wives went to school. And then guess what happened? After she got her degree and her certification, she didn't sit back and allow him to go to school. She left. She leveled up and got up out of there. And that's not all of them, but the ones you talking about. She got up out of there. Now, if we're talking about accountability, accountability is not something that we can place gender on. I'm sorry, excuse me, that we can place gender on. Accountability is a sexless act. That means men, women, children, elderly, blind, LGBTQ, whoever have to take accountability. Now let's talk about where healing starts, man. You know, healing starts with both men and women own their part in the mess and do something about it. Because the goal isn't to win an argument about, who's wrong and who's right. The goal is to rebuild these homes that you're talking about, these single homes. That's the goal. Now let's stop blaming one side and start building better families together on both sides of the spectrum. You got that one-sided mind and that one-sided argument. And I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to get on here and help my peoples. And I'm going to do this because it's been placed in my heart to do it. Now, if you feel like you can do better, start your channel, start your page, and I'm going to come subscribe and follow and watch your videos too. And I'm not going to leave no hating ass comments under your videos. If I disagree, I can disagree on my own in my living room by myself. I don't need to publicly get on there and try to make mockery of your work and your efforts. When you lay in your room jacking off, I don't come bother you and get in your business. So stay the out of mind. Now, if you want to learn something, DM me. We could talk about it. I'll teach you something. But if you want to just get in these comments and argue, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not famous neither, so I ain't got nothing to lose. We can do this all day. Now, if you notice, I ain't puffing. I ain't puffing my hookah because I wanted to really, really focus on what it is you're talking about. So everybody has to embrace the fact that a lot of these fathers that's walking away, yes, a lot of these fathers came from single parent homes that are walking away. A lot of these fathers were subjected to the decisions that their single mother made or their single father made. You understand what I'm saying? The poison has been placed into our race long ago, before me and you even had this back and forth conversation. So to talk about how the fathers reacting to the poison, or the women, the mothers reacting to the poison, that's dumb. We got to get to the root cause and the root problem, the root issue. And that's the disconnection. There's a disconnection in the culture between black men and black women. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's a disconnection. You don't want to talk about that disconnection though, because this conversation we have is a disconnection. Because we can't relate. You got your opinion, I got mine. You got your asshole, I got mine. That's how that works. We both got one, right? So keep your feelings off my comments. Don't put your feelings into the comments. If you wise and you want to share your education, your perspective, do so. We'll go back and forth. But stay out your feelings. I'm not in my feelings. I can care less. I just got through eating French toast, drinking on my mocha latte with blonde espresso shots, classic syrup with oat milk. It is what it is. As far as I'm concerned, you probably commenting under a bridge somewhere in the rain. I don't know. But you have a blessed day, sir. Well, I will. Puff with me.